Yeah. So hey everyone. Thanks for joining in. This is Ajinkya. I'm co-founder and CEO of Wintwell. So we are starting this monthly webinars, which will go on every month. The idea is to talk about what we are building, answer questions about answer any question that investors have in general about the business or any or let us say the assets that we bring. Talk about the upcoming asset. Uh, Talk about upcoming asset classes that we are going to build, right? Uh, that's the plan. I'll just shortly talk about like when we started Wintwealth like a year back, right? The idea was to democratize structured debt asset class because I am from a lending background. Anshul is working in the lending industry for now 6-7 years. Uh, what we figured out is that these are like really bunch of good assets which were only accessible if you are ready to invest 50 lakh or 1 crore, right, in every asset. And I personally wanted to invest in those assets, but I didn't have that kind of money, right? So idea was to can we democratize those asset classes and bring it for more people, right? And that's what we have been doing. We launched like we did a pilot in August, then formally launched in December end, and now we have brought in 4 complete assets, 1 pilot plus 3, and few more are in pipeline, right? So that's the background. The idea was of the monthly seminar was to have build connect with the investors. We keep talking to many users offline, one-on-one for feedback, but generally getting sense what we are doing, what we should do better. Are we? What are the next asset classes that you investors want us to bring, right? So what is absolutely clear to our mind is we started with one asset class, but the idea is not to just keep it as a one asset class free. Our strength lies in talking honestly about the risk, bringing in products that have some arbitrage in them, and figuring out right structures for them to bring it to retail investor. So that is not only for one asset class. We plan to democratize more and more asset class, and that's always the vision, long vision, right? So in that long journey, what we said, like we are building it. Yeah, yeah. Sorry. Uh, we said we are anyway we are building it for investor, and why don't we talk to them on a monthly basis, where we get a pulse of what is happening, what are the general queries, and that will hopefully build more transparency about the asset classes we are bringing, more connect, and it will also give us a kind of a feedback on what kind of asset classes should we bring more and more, right? So that's the overall aim. Couple of questions have been answered very regularly, so I want to and we are highlighting those, and probably those are not currently highlighted well on the website, and we have been talking about them in the investor education calls, which are set up on either our WhatsApp or Zoom or normal calls, right? The question is like, who should invest in Wintwealth, right? What kind of products are these? What kind of people should invest in Wintwealth? So what we are absolutely now like we believe is like this asset class is only for people who have salary greater than 10 lakh. In other words, eventually this is for this investment platform only makes sense for people if you are going to eventually invest 10-15 lakh through the platform, not in this particular asset class, but across asset classes, right? The idea is any new asset class you get into, it requires a lot of effort from the investor side, a lot of efforts from our side, but yeah, fine. We will, as a business, will always take that effort. But from the investor side also, right, there will be a lot of efforts in educating the investors for themselves, right? And then making those investment learning, right? So there is some effort reward ratio, right? It wouldn't make sense below that. So uh, what we are building, so and for us also to provide that experience, we need to make sure that we are catering to the right audience. So that audience for us is people who have income greater than 10 lakh yearly income, right? Or essentially people who are in 30% tax bracket. That's another proxy, right? And our products are ideally always built by keeping those target segment in mind, right? And we are going to nudge this very aggressively on the platform in the future months. Uh, So that has been always the focus. So that is the question number one. Is like who should invest? People who have yearly income greater than 10 lakh. As simple as that. Right? And the second question is how should you look at investing on the wind wealth? What should be the asset allocation like? Right? In this asset allocation, we don't really recommend more than 5-10% of your portfolio. And we bring in more and more asset classes, and whenever we feel the asset allocation should be higher or lower, we'll be very happy to recommend it. And the best thing about Windwealth is we are building it for people like ourselves, right? So we will always look at how we will invest in those assets, and we do invest in these assets, right? Not as company, but as individuals also, right? So we co-founders and our teammates, right? So we will only suggest the asset allocation that we feel is right. Right. So for this asset class, what we are currently bringing in covered bonds, we don't recommend more than 10% for sure. Somewhere between 5 to 10% is a right mix. That 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 is also conditional. Now let me talk about that. Right. So because these bonds are high risk bonds, there are obviously mitigants in place, but these are high risk bonds, right? So you should diversify well. So whatever your asset allocation is there, whatever money you are investing through Windwealth platform, it should be at least diversified in 10 assets, like probably more. Now the next question that comes is like, hey, you have only gotten 3 assets. So that's our next, like that's where we tell people also next thing is like invest slowly. Don't like if you want to invest 5 lakhs or 10 lakhs, don't invest in one go. Just because there are 2-3 assets, don't invest in higher amounts, right? Investment is always a long journey, so it has to be taken that way. So build slowly, start slowly, right? Get comfort, talk to many people about the asset class, get educated, reach out to us. Happy to help, right? We are always there to answer the question and educate investors, and then slowly grow it, right? So every covered bond that comes on the platform, if you feel like you are okay with that kind of risk, invest more, invest more, invest more, and that's how you build portfolio on Windwealth on the covered bonds portfolio rate, which is very important. I've seen like when I talk to users, many users say, okay, I felt this is good, so I invested 2 lakhs, and I plan to invest let's say 5 lakhs. So that's not the right strategy, right? You shouldn't invest more than like if you are planning to invest 10 lakh through the platform on these covered bonds, then you shouldn't invest more than 1 lakh in one bond for sure. So I want to make that absolutely clear, and that's how we generally invest, and we suggest people to invest. So that's kind of a suggestion from our side, and I hope it is helpful. If anybody has questions around it, maybe we cannot like we have already 100 plus questions or little like in that range. So we may not be able to cater all questions today, and there are already questions building in Q&A. But we are committed to answer them one-on-one. Please feel to we have a WhatsApp number on the homepage where you can directly reach out. There is no bot. There are people answering it, and quite qualified people answering those questions. So feel free to ask your questions. Get all your questions answered. Right. So that's the request from my side. So that's pretty much it. Because since there are a lot of questions, I'm going to keep it short, right? And I'm going to now hand it over to Anshul, who will talk about the upcoming assets, and then we will start taking questions one by one. And we will first cater to questions that are given in the submitted by people who submitted in the registration link, and then we will obviously look at the questions raised here as well in the Q&A.
Yeah, thanks, Ajinkya. Thanks everyone for coming on the webinar. It's a pleasure interacting with you. So like Ajinkya mentioned, one of the key advices that we give all our investors is diversify across Windwealth assets that come on the platform. So far, the frequency of the assets have been like one asset per month, but going forward, we are trying to increase the frequency in terms of number of assets that come on the platform, and also in terms of diversification of assets that we can bring for our investors. So initially we started with gold loans only as an asset class. Our March asset was backed by vehicle loans. The last Ugro deal was backed by property loans. So we already have 3 asset classes on the platform. The plans are to introduce many more asset classes also going forward. So in this slide, I'll just talk about a couple of assets that are going to come immediately over next 2 to 4 weeks on the platform. So our first asset that is going live around 18th or 19th of this month, it's a gold loan backed covered bond. The asset size is 15 crores. The returns on the asset will be 11% XARR. The asset is backed by gold loans. The size of gold loans pool is going to be 1.25 times the issue size, which means if the bond size is 15 crore, the gold loan principal backing the bond will be 1.25x the bond size. Additionally, there will be 7% cash collateral also, which will be over and above this 1.25 times gold loan pool. It's a 15-month bond only. The structure of bond is a MLD. So like a lot of us would be knowing, the MLD structures are much more tax efficient compared to regular covered bonds. So in a MLD, if you hold the instrument for more than 12 months, the taxation is similar to LTCG, which means it's only 10% taxation. The downside in a MLD is you cannot have regular cash flows like you can have in a regular bond. So both principal and interest is paid on maturity. The name of the NBFC will be made live on the platform pretty soon. So the transaction has already settled. We are getting the listing done on BSE. As soon as the listing is done, more details will come on the platform and the asset will go live by 18th or 19th. The second asset that we are bringing this month is backed by vehicle loans. This is again a covered MLD. The asset size is 30 crores. The pool backing this asset is worth 36 crore, comprising of mostly commercial vehicle loans. This will be a 21-month bond. The returns on this bond will be 9.25% XARR. So this asset is expected to go live sometime in the last week of this month. We are planning to close the deal by around 20th. It might take 4 or 5 days for listing. And once the listing is done, the asset will go live on the platform. So yeah, I'll keep it short. Just wanted to give a sense of what are the upcoming assets. And yeah.
Hey, thanks, Anshul. And whenever these assets are going live, for a couple of days before they will be up for your review so that people can study them, choose whether they want to invest or not. Last time the asset got full so fast, like there were many people who said before we could take a call, the asset was gone. So this time it will be live a couple of days back, a couple of days before the asset goes live, and you would be able to see all the data on the website and links, and you can start pinging us if you have any doubts, right? Yeah, so we'll start with questions. We have more than 100 questions, so I'm going to prioritize questions that are related to risk because that is always important. People often underestimate the risk or overestimate the risk, and while everybody has their own perception about the risk, we want to be honest about what it is out there and let people take call, right? So I'm going to start with one by one questions, and then I'm going to keep answering it. So the first question is it completely risk-free? The answer is no, right? Nothing is risk-free. If you are thinking that FDs are risk-free, those are on low risk because FDs below 5 lakh are guaranteed by the government, so that becomes as close as as close as to risk-free. But if you consider FDs as low risk, these bonds are high risk, right? So that is absolutely clear. If anyone has told you otherwise, it is completely wrong. And we always educate about it. But often when people talk among themselves, if you have come through referral channels, or if you have heard it somewhere else, if you have heard something else that is wrong, these are high risk investments. what is done is like the risks are mitigated, but that doesn't mean that they become zero, right? So therefore, the return is also higher than FD, right? If the risk is exactly like FD, the return would not be this higher, right? So it should be absolutely clear. These are high risk instruments. The mitigants are in place for the risk involved: liquidity risk, credit risk, and fraud risk, which we have talked about. It is there on the website, but still, it is definitely not risk free. So if anyone has confusion, like I want to be as clear as possible, as straightforward about it as possible, right? This is not risk free. What should be our fund allocation here? Right, so that's the second question. So I talked about in this asset class, you should maximum allocate 5 to 10%, but don't start all at once. Go slowly, invest small amounts, understand how it works, let a couple of months pass, or even maybe more as per your comfort, and then start slowly building, right? Slowly building portfolio. Study the NBFCs we are bringing, study the asset classes we are bringing, right? And then start slow. Are you planning to come up with invoice bill discounting investment also? Heard that is also good, and risk free with better returns. Again, that is also not risk free. About the asset that we will bring in future, we are exploring many asset classes. I don't want to comment on something saying we are working on this. As soon as we run pilot the asset, and we will run we generally run a small pilot of the platform. So we generally invite, let's say, 50, 100 users for running a pilot, right? And once the pilot is successfully executed, then we take it on the platform. Like for this asset class also, we launched pilot in August, right? So and that taught us a lot of things about educating the customers, and then we came up with the next platform. So this quarter or next quarter, we'll do a couple of pilots of different asset classes. And there, then we will bring in more asset classes. What those going to be are, I also frankly don't know. We are exploring. We are also understanding. We have some ideas about 5-6 asset classes, but nothing concrete as of now on that front. Investment protection and safety measures which are in place, and how retailer can make use of it in the time of need. So. Investor protection, so all these are bankruptcy remote instruments backed by collateral of 1.2x. So we only do collateral backed loans. So that means either gold, vehicle, or property, right? So there is an investor protection. These are listed bonds on stock exchange. I probably need to understand more context of this question. But if you have any doubts about the risk, schedule call our team, one-on-one call, and get yourself updated with the risks. I've often found many, not many, but like few investors on the platform who are not aware of the risk involved, or not properly aware of the risk involved. What do you suggest regarding investment in stocks in the current market situation? Shall we wait and see it is available, or is it advisable to go ahead with the investment? I'm no expert, so I'm not going. I'm frankly not the right guy to ask this question. Are the returns under WintWealth assets guaranteed and assured returns? So if you're asking whether WintWealth guarantees anything, we don't. Whether we assure anything, we don't. We are a platform. We bring this for you, right? These are guaranteed or issued by the NBFC. But if you look, generally when people think that guaranteed or fixed, they generally think it is guaranteed by the government or something. So this is not the case in the instruments we are bringing. I'm loud and clear here. This is not the case. So it is assured by the NBFC. If NBFC goes down, there is a recourse on the pool. But it is not guaranteed as such by government. So that risk profiling is different from FDs, right? Then those are mainly FDs, right? And if you are looking for those kind of risks, those kind of low risk instruments, then you should stick to FDs. How is my investment safe if WintWealth makes the default? On the maturity of core bonds, are these auto redeem and payment is directly sent to account, or do you have to submit any request on maturity? one thing is we are a platform. We are bringing you these assets, these bonds, especially the covered bonds, are listed on stock exchange. So even if we go bankrupt, nothing that doesn't impact the asset at all. Right? Even if we shut down the platform, whatever secondary liquidity buyer and seller matching that we do, that might be impacted, but as such, there is no impact on the asset. At the time of maturity, whatever bank account is there that is connected to with your demat account in which you are holding this covered bond, you will get the money there in the bank account, not on the, like many people we have seen, they have given a different bank account or their own bank account on the platform, but one that is connected to demat is separate. Any money that is going to flow through the NBFC will always flow to the bank account that is connected with your demat. And you don't need to fill in any form at the maturity or anything. You don't need to do anything. How will you keep ensuring that new products will be safe and the rating of those will be correct when Win12 subscriber will increase to protect retail investor from wild loans or mortgage loans backed by security likes of which caused 2008 financial crisis? I also saw in seminar question and answer saying how are you and like how is this not different from 2008 or what is the difference? So there is a famous concept called skin in the game. So let us say so that means if somebody is in the value chain, if things go wrong, he should be also punished. He should also have a downside, right? Let us say recently SEBI come out with this circular for mutual fund managers, right? Fund managers saying they should have skin in the game. So they should hold some units as their own skin, so that if fund doesn't perform, they also have some financial impact, right? Now, what happened in 2008 where these banks were making loans and they were selling those loans through merchant bankers to, let us say, pension funds, retail investors, and so I'm as a bank, the bank is making loan on Friday, it is getting sold next week. And the basic problem in 2008 crisis, what caused 2008 crisis was the bank didn't have any skin in the game. So imagine this: a bank is making loans. If the loan goes bad, the bank actually doesn't pay for it. Bank doesn't have any downside. The investor who carry the risk will pay for it. But if something goes and if the loan goes bad, then also investor get the money, and banks keep getting processing fee. So they got greedy, right? And they started making more and more loans. And then when they figured out, I mean, even if the loan goes bad, they don't have any problem. They started making giving out loans left, right, center, giving high property valuations and etc. Right? So that perpetuated that crisis. In India, fortunately, there are strict guidelines. The issuer, whoever is even securitizing or anything, they have to have a minimum recourse of 10-15%. That's the range, right? So that prevents that the issuer, the NBFC or the bank, has skin in the game, even in long term. The current products we do, we have dual recourse. We have 100% recourse on the NBFC, 100%, right? So if anything happens to the portfolio, NBFC is always liable to pay. So there is for as long as the NBFC exists, they are liable to pay to us, right? So there is full skin in the game, right? So and that's why this is a completely different product than 2008. Obviously, there is risk involved. I'm not saying risk is not, but 2008 crisis didn't happen because per se the instruments per se. It was happened because there is no skin in the game. In India, RBI has made it mandatory for lenders to have skin in the game whenever they securitize. So I hope that answers the question. I invested in for WindBricks. Probability of default at Ugro Capital looks minimal to me in the next 18 months. Second, the worst likely is that even if it defaults, it is backed by 1.2x assets in the trust. So which implies the principal is always safe. Should I consider this as 100% safe investment, or what could be the risk? So I want to let everyone know nothing is 100% safe, right? So that is absolutely clear. Obviously, there is, yes, probability of default is low. There are asset-backed loans, but if you grow defaults, the underlying tenure of these loans is higher, so it will take probably longer to recover the money. I hope you know about it, right? So we personally believe that capital loss risk is very, very low, but it is still not zero, and it is never zero, right? Unless it is guaranteed by the government. That is your either G-Secs, government bonds, or government securities, or FD, which is below 5 lakhs. How often do you come up with these assets? We generally used to come, the earlier frequency was 2 months, one asset in 2 months, but now we have seen good response and a lot of organic traffic is coming to the website. So this month we came up with this BRICS asset, and then by 18th we are coming up with next asset, what Anshul mentioned, Windfields. And then by month end also we are coming with Windfields again. Right. So this month we'll be having 3 assets and hopefully another 3-4 assets next month. How can yeah? I am a new customer at Zerodha and have invested in WindBRICS scheme. I would like to know more about the investment risk in BRICS, wheels and other such funds. These are not funds, by the way. These are assets. These are bonds. You are directly investing in these bonds. Such bonds being rolled out by Zerodha and Wind Management for retail investors looking for better returns on low risk investment. Again, our instruments are high risk investment with mitigation, but high risk investment, right? And if you like, if you guys please let us know if you want to have just one session of talking about the risk. I and Anshul can conduct that session, where for whole 1 hour we could only speak about the risk in detail, and we want more people to know about the risk, right? So in fact, we will schedule another discussion. It seems like a good idea to me, where we'll schedule a risk related discussion, another webinar, and then stay tuned for it. All right. Yes, many on the social media platform have said that these products are high risk products, and even after there are several collaterals and other protection against defaults. Can you explain how the investors will be paid in case of default by any of these products, process and approx time hypothetically? That's a good question. So what happens is, like, there are always underlying collateral. If let's say, and there is a specified maturity of 15 months, 18 months, or 24, or whatever is the, if NBFC is not able to pay back, then we have a dedicated pool of loan that is kept aside. Recovery from that portfolio starts, and it starts getting paid. And that also is very well defined in different loans, right? In WindBRICS, the period is actually about 7 years. The whole principal, so this is a 20 crore issue backed by 25 crore. The principal actually for 20 crore principal actually comes in 4 years. What happens is, if the portfolio is doing decent, if there is no fraud, we are generally able to sell that portfolio to some institutional investor if NBFC defaults, right? So the biggest risk here is fraud. If the portfolio is good, we should be able to sell that in 3 to 6 months in general scenario, right? If the extreme scenario comes, like COVID-like situation where there is no buyer, it will still take time. And there is always underlying collateral, and that has, so if I have to talk very briefly, gold has a 12 months additional. So from if the gold NBFC defaults, we have 12 months in which the all capital will come back, provided there is no fraud. In vehicle, that is around 2 to 3 years. In property, that is around 5 to 7 years. Very briefly, but these dates are also mentioned in the documents, and you can check with our team and know before you invest in those asset classes. Yeah, how can investor feel safe investing through WindWealth? Risk, reward, safety. So these are very, very repeated questions. So we will do, like, based on this question, I think we should do another webinar just to discuss risk, and that will do. In the meantime, if you want to know, feel free to reach out to our team, schedule a session, and know the risk in detail, right? Because it's your money. We are here to facilitate. We have also invested our money. As a company, also we are invested in these assets, but we understand risk, and we want you to understand risk also, right? So these are repeated questions. So probably I will take another webinar. We will take another webinar for that. In the meantime, feel free to reach out to our team. Yeah, so those were risk related questions. One question that keeps coming is whether this is liquid or not. So let us talk about that, right? And it is also mentioned in a couple of questions. The thing is that in first two asset, we had some liquidity buffer, but from WinBricks, we don't have that buffer. What we observed that there are hardly any sellers of the asset. So we would rather pass on that benefit to investor rather than, because when we create that liquidity buffer, we create that cash collateral, cash that actually impacts the yield. And what we also do is like you must have seen, as soon as the asset is full, we open a waiting list on that. And for every asset we have done, there are 1,000+ investors in the waiting list. Right? So if anyone wants to sell, we facilitate that secondary sell to the buyer. In general, there is always a buyer, but if the market is extreme, there will not be any buyer for any asset. If the NBFC goes default, then also that for particularly that NBFC, there will not be any buyer. Right? That's why we ask people to diversify. Right? Money will come, but money will be stuck. And so we only facilitate, we don't promise any liquidity. We also ask people only invest with a mindset of keeping, like holding it till maturity. Don't treat this as a liquid instrument. Don't treat this as an emergency fund. Never, never, never. Right? We care and we don't want to miss it here. So no emergency fund here, no liquid fund here. Right? And there are currently buyers on the platform. If you have been missold or got to know and there was some miscommunication, please feel free to exit. Right? We will facilitate that. Currently, we can definitely facilitate that. Right? So these were risk-related questions. I'll just visit the Q&A also. Okay, we'll visit the Q&A at the latest Q&A on the webinar dashboard. Now we will go to product related, structure related, taxation related question, and Anshul will take those. Anshul, over to you.
Sure. Thanks, Achinki. So first question is, can we get monthly interest products? So yes, we bring both kinds of products. MLDs, like I mentioned, structurally, they have to be bullet principal, bullet interest, which means both interest and principal are paid at the maturity. Regular covered bonds, for example, Wind Wheels, did have a monthly interest repayment also. Going forward, we will be bringing covered bonds wherein monthly interest payments will be made. Second question is, why has the interest rate decreased over the last 3 Wind Wealth products? Is it that the earlier products were more riskier? So the assets that we try to bring on the platform, they normally will have interest rates between 9 to 11%. Now the pricing of the asset depends majorly on which NBFC is the issuer. So if NBFC is larger in size, the pricing will normally be lower compared to the NBFC, which is smaller in size. For example, if tomorrow Bajaj Finance were to issue a covered bond, the pricing would be at par with what Bajaj Finance is borrowing otherwise in the market, which might be 6 to 7%. So covered bond issued by a larger NBFC will have a slightly lower pricing compared to covered bond issued by a smaller NBFC. In general, the credit spreads in the market have decreased over past 3 to 6 months, primarily because of two things. One is because of COVID. Not much disbursements are happening in the market. So there are not many NBFCs who are looking to borrow. And if NBFC is looking to borrow, the pricing ask is finer. Second is there is a lot of liquidity in the market because of the steps taken by RBI, government, etc. So all this liquidity is chasing a lot of NBFCs. So because of that, the interest rates in the market have also fallen over past 4 to 6 months. So yeah, the pricing has been a function of all these factors. Are all products MLDs? No, like I mentioned, few will be MLDs and a few will be regular covered bonds. Will money invested be credited back automatically, or do I need to reach out to Vint Wealth for redemption? So, like Ajinkya mentioned some time back, the repayments from the NBFC will be directly credited in the bank account of the investor. This bank account will be the one which is linked to the demat account through which the investment has been made. So there is no manual intervention required at investors' end. The money will automatically get credited in the demat linked bank account. Can we have an indicator under each asset to see how much of it has been subscribed in real time? So yeah, that's a feature which our product team is evaluating, and yeah, we also are discussing if something like this can be introduced. Would you support a regular investment, say monthly investment, in a tax efficient manner with little risk? I think the intention here is to understand if a SIP like feature is possible on Vint Wealth. We don't have such a feature as of now, but yeah, we are discussing if a feature something like SIP can be introduced on the platform, because one of our intention is to enable investors to scale gradually. They should not be investing large amount upfront. So keeping that in mind, we are evaluating if a SIP like feature can also be brought in. Has Vint Wealth Fund got any rating from any of the rating agencies? So all our assets are rated by rating agencies. The ratings are visible under asset details section. Vint Wealth per se is just a platform. So Vint Wealth will not have a rating, but all the assets, all the covered bonds that we are bringing, they will be rated by one or the other rating agency. How are covered bonds more beneficial in comparison to regular bonds? Apart from time duration and interest rate. So I guess one of the main benefits of covered bond is lower credit risk compared to regular secured bonds. So as a lot of us would be knowing, in covered bonds, we get a dual protection. First is from NBFC. Second is even if the NBFC goes bankrupt, there is a identified pool of assets, the money from which will be utilized to repay the investors. And this pool of assets is bankruptcy removed, so that tomorrow, even if the NBFC were to go through the bankruptcy proceedings, money coming from this pool of assets will directly go to the investors. In a regular secured bonds, one may have such pool of assets, but that pool is not bankruptcy removed. As an example, if you look at DHFL's regular secured bonds, even though DHFL's end customers, guys who have taken loans from DHFL, they might be repaying. But since DHFL is in bankruptcy, that money is stuck in the bankruptcy proceeding. It is not going to the DHFL bond investors. But in a covered bond, whatever money comes from the underlying pool, that becomes bankruptcy removed, and that directly goes to the investors. So that is one of the main benefits and advantages of covered bond over a regular bond. Would like to know what are the benefits for NRIs in terms of investing in covered bonds. Is Vint Wealth looking to tie up with someone like Upstock or Zerodha for ease of accessibility? So firstly, these under the FAMA laws, NRIs cannot invest in covered bonds either via NRE or NRO account. So in any debt instrument other than infra bonds, the regulators don't allow NRIs to make a investment. So all the assets which are coming on our platform as of now, they are not NRIs are not eligible to invest. In terms of tying up with Upstock and Zerodha, yes, some work is going in terms of allowing investors to directly invest from exchange also, but that's possible only if we do a public issue, which means the transaction size has to be at least 100 crore. So that is one structure which we have in mind and is definitely there in the pipeline. Can investors expect better transparency in such products? Most of the details of the deal are opaque and may not be available to the investors. So all the structure level details are part of information memorandum. Though on the platform we mention brief details on the front page, but there is also a documents tab on the platform wherein rating rationale and information memorandum is there. Information memorandum, it's a pretty long document. It's more than 100 pages in size and will cover each and every detail of the structure. So whatever structure level details have been captured in the legal documents, it will be there in the legal documents tab on the platform under the information memorandum.
Anshul, I want to come in here for a second. If people want to know how much money we make per deal, so we will be making about 1.5% to 2% on yearly basis on most of the deals, right? And we also talk about how much we make, how much margin we make per asset. It is unfortunately not mentioned on the website, but you can talk to our team, and at some point of time we will be putting that on the website as well, saying how much money how much percentage we are making on that particular deal, because we believe in transparency. So an investor should have right to know. Currently, it is not there. Many features people have been asking about many things why are not there. We have a small tech team. We are a small team, so they are in pipeline. But in the meantime, there is like unless it is regulatory not like permitted, we are like by default we want to share everything that is on the table, right from how much money we make to how much money we invest. As a platform, we invest about 2% in every deal, hold that till maturity, right? So if anything goes wrong, we also have skin in the game. As founders, also we invest money. And one of the question was whether we'll be able to disclose this. Yes, for sure we'll be able to disclose it, right? So if there is something missing, it is because of our tech bandwidth mainly, not, but like we take pride in being most honest platform about education, about educating people about the risk involved. So feel free to reach out and ask any questions to our team. Sometimes what also happens on the asset page, the details get too many, and that become distracting. So our product team takes the call on basis on that, but that doesn't mean we want to hide anything. That's never the aim. And if you have such questions, feel free to reach out anytime to our education team, and they'll be more than happy to answer that. Anshul, over to you.
All right. Please paint the picture from start to end as to what will be the sequence of events in case of default. So in a covered bond, let's say if a NBFC were to go bankrupt and they don't repay money on time, so trustee will start passing the collections which are coming from the underlying pool to the investors. Like I mentioned, the underlying pool is still bankruptcy remote. If the NBFC defaults, we have recourse to the underlying pool. Now, in such a scenario, however, the repayments may take some time. For example, let's say in Wind Wheels, Kokta was supposed to repay at the end of 2 years, and Kokta defaults at that point of time. We still have a 1.2x times underlying vehicle loan portfolio, and money coming from that portfolio will be used to redeem the debentures. But that process might take some time. In a vehicle loan, the loan tenors are normally 2 to 4 years. So the transaction tenor might get elongated by another couple of years, so that as and when the pool is repaying, the bonds will start getting redeemed. Having said that, if the pool is performing well, trustee in parallel can try to find a buyer for the pool, let's say any bank, NBFC, or any other investor. And if such a buyer is found and the investor buys the portfolio at one go, then that sale consideration can be used to redeem the debentures in one go.
We will also take this in detail when we conduct the risk seminar, where we'll define the scenarios and how things are going to be, and we'll take examples on the assets that are on the platform, and we'll play how it will fold out, right? And we can discuss that in detail at that in the risk seminar.
Right. Explain the due diligence process taken by Vint Wealth before onboarding an asset to the platform. So before onboarding any NBFC, we conduct a diligence on the NBFC also, wherein we analyze the financial strength of the NBFC, talk to senior management, promoters, CEOs, CXOs, second line, etc. Examine the systems, processes, operations of the entity. Once the NBFC meets our criteria and filters, then we conduct a diligence on the underlying pool. Now, each pool will have its own diligence filters. For example, for Vint Wheels, the underlying was a pool of commercial vehicle loans. So all the loans in the underlying portfolio of Vint Wheels, we validated using Vahan portal of Government of India. In Vahan portal, it's a central database for all the vehicles which are there in India. So using registration number as the unique identifier, we reconciled the data for all the loans in Vint Wheels portfolio with Vahan database. And Vahan database also mentioned which was the financier for those vehicles. So we also validated whether Kokta Finance had actually financed all the vehicles in the portfolio using Vahan website. Similarly, for each asset class, we have different checks which are used to reconcile the data that NBFC is sharing and to do a diligence on the underlying pools. Any plans on increasing the asset size? Last one got subscribed within a few days. Yes, gradually we will be increasing asset size. For example, the Vint Wheels deal, which is coming towards the end of this month, it will be a largest deal. It's a 30 crore asset. Our earlier assets were normally in the range of 10 to 20 crores. Going forward, the asset size will increase up to 50 crores also. In a current pandemic scenario, where the lending rates are very low, why would a NBFC take loan from Vint Wealth with such high interest rates? So if you look at the wholesale lending rates for NBFCs in India, it ranges between 7%, which is the rate at which someone like Bajaj, Chola, Manappuram, etc. might be borrowing, 6 to 7%, and can go as high as 16-17%, depending on the size of the NBFCs. Our sweet spot is to bring those NBFCs on our platform where the borrowing rates are between 9 to 12%. These NBFCs, they have a decent size, are normally backed by private equity players, have portfolios between 500 to 10,000 crore, and offer good risk-adjusted returns. Because if you look at most of the capital in the market, it's chasing all the AAA rated NBFCs, which are your Bajaj, HDFC, LIC Housing, etc. The moment you come to A rating category or triple B plus rating category of NBFCs, the credit spreads increases significantly. So the 9 to 12% range is kind of a sweet spot for us. These are NBFCs which we like in terms of operations, governance, systems, etc. have relatively lower leverage compared to some of the high-rated NBFCs and offer good risk-adjusted returns. So that's why a lot of times investors ask, can the rates be even higher than 11%? We don't want to go too down the credit curve because from a risk perspective, we think NBFCs who are borrowing in the range of 9 to 12%, the risk return profile is pretty good there. If covered bonds are so safe, why are they available to small investors? Will not institutional investors just buy them right off the market, considering such high returns? Valid point. And these investors do invest in these covered bond transactions and securitization transactions. In fact, if you look at 2019 figures of 2019-2020 figures of securitization market of India, the market size is 2 lakh crore, and more than 99% investment is done by institutional investors, including banks, foreign investors, AMCs, AIFs, etc. So the market is huge, and only a portion of that is coming on Vint Wealth platform. So institutional investors are already investing in securitization products and covered bond products. When is next monthly interest repayment covered bond coming? So we are having some conversations for such a structure, and most likely sometime in July, we should have a monthly interest repaying covered bond also. Next question is with respect to MLD payouts. How is it linked to Sensex levels? So in MLD, basically the returns, like we know, are linked to Sensex performance. So most of the structures that we have are done on our platform. They have two conditions. So let's say today Sensex is around 50,000. If at the time of maturity, Sensex goes below 10,000, then the interest payout will be zero. Investors will only get a principal repayment. If not, they get a principal along with the promised interest. Whatever happens to Sensex in between doesn't affect the returns to the investors. Whether Sensex dips to 25,000, 30, 35, 15, whatever. The only condition is at the time of maturity, Sensex value should be more than 10,000. How are their taxes charged on investing in Vint Wealth? Is there any TDS, or is investor liable to pay the tax? As per regulations, if a bond is listed, there is no need to deduct TDS while making the payments. So it's a responsibility of the investor to declare the income while filing the income tax return and pay the due tax. Trustee, while making the payment, doesn't deduct any TDS. I know that maturity profit is taxed at LTCG. How is the monthly interest taxed? In MLDs, like we know, the taxation is as per LTCG, which means if you hold the MLD for more than 1 year, the taxation is 10%. But in monthly repaying bonds, wherein interest payment is coming on a monthly basis, the taxation is as per your marginal rate of taxation, which means if you are in 20% tax bracket, the taxation on interest income will be 20%. If you are in 30% tax bracket, the taxation rate will be 30%. Can you share the asset performance report for the new assets on the portal upfront before someone wants to invest? like you share a performance report for the assets every month. In case asset is not live, can you share a performance report for similar assets in the past? So once the transaction is settled, for the pool which is there in the transaction, we share a monthly performance report with the investors. But at the point of initiation of the transaction, all the loan contracts have to be current as per our criteria. And details of that pool is visible under the assets section of any live deal that comes on the platform. So one can go to the asset details and see the asset-wise pivots, as in from which geographies the pool is coming, what is the tenor of the loans in the pool, what is the type of, what are the LTVs of loan contracts in the pool. So all those details are there in the information memorandum and also in the asset details section on the website. Yeah, these were some of the product related questions. Over to you, Chinke.
Great, man. Thanks. Yes, so the next set of questions, and these are last set of questions before we move on to Q&A on the dashboard. Many questions on the Q&A dashboard raised in Q&A of this webinar have been answered. This is the related to platform features when business. One common question is, at least I've seen that question 10 times in these responses, is like, when are we launching our app? It is much easier to track the app. So it is in process. Timeline we'll get back soon. When we understand that once the investment is, it is much easier to track in your mobile. So we have been working on it, and that's the plan. But the thing is that the website is currently mobile friendly, right? So if you open it in Chrome, it will almost work like an app. So you can still monitor it in your Google Chrome. But it is in the plan. It is in the plan to release the mobile app, and it should be done soon. Number of employees in Wintwealth, we are about 30 employees. What is Wintwealth's revenue or profit for year 2020? 2020 we just started, so it was minuscule. It should be in the range of in the range of 60 to 70 lakhs. Well, that was the revenue, not even profit, right? How Wintwealth identifies the opportunities, right? Like we have to believe there is some risk adjusted return in those assets, and that can be from different reasons. It is generally because the sector is growing very fast, and there is not of money coming in. Not a lot of money coming in. That could be one arbitrage. Other arbitrage could be policy arbitrage. Other arbitrage is technology arbitrage. Technology is solving for something. So all those feature. All those aside, there are different kind of arbitrages, and only when we believe there is something, then we get into it. And if the asset actually stops giving arbitrages, we'll stop bringing those assets. May I know who all are your competitors similar to Wintwealth? Currently, there are no competitors in this space. We are the first one to democratize covered bond market. Closest will be people who deal in bonds or some kind of fixed income products, but these are assets that have been that were not available to retail investors before, and we are the first one to bring it to the retail investors. What other diversified investment options we have? We don't have yet, but we will have many soon, right? So stay tuned on that. I see very less deals coming on the Wintwealth platform. I want to see daily deal with better interest rates. Also, I want to consider invoice bill discounting as well and enable that in this platform. Hey, thanks for that feedback. But generally, like, deal won't be daily because as a principle, if we don't get a good deal, we sit idle, right? So deals will be more frequent, but not definitely daily. What are your future plans? So plan is basically bring in more and more asset classes, democratize more and more asset classes. That has been the plan since the inception, and we are sticking to it. How many assets are you targeting to launch every quarter? Do you categorize these assets as AI or FI, and why? I don't know this terminology. What do you mean by that terminology? So I can't answer that. But planning how many assets we plan to launch, the answer is as we get more and more response, we will bring more and more assets. So earlier we were bringing about one asset in 2 months. This month itself we are bringing 2-3 assets. Next month 3-4 assets. Right? So that frequency has been increasing, and it will always keep up with the kind of investors we have. Like more investors we have, more investments you will have on the platform. Wouldn't it be a great idea if WindWealth also start providing exit facilities to its investor after asset has been fully subscribed? Yeah, there were more couple of questions. So these are questions related to whether you can invest like you can exit prematurely. Yes, we facilitate that if there is a buyer, right? It is not in the current product format, but if you reach out to our team and if there is a buyer, we facilitate that, right? We don't guarantee that, so don't consider that there will be always liquidity. And I've spoken about this before, and want to be clear again. In my Zerodha portfolio, ticker price for the security code, that is 1080 0KF KFIL25, is not reflected properly. Is there any way to correct it? Yes, you can go and put up a trade, because you have bought this offline. You have not bought them on exchange. There is some kind of a discrepancy there because it is a mismatch. So you can manually enter that trade and remove the mismatch. Unfortunately, what happens is like the price doesn't change on the exchange because the transactions are not getting executed. There are no sellers in the market. So you'll always see the last traded price, which is very old. Like if you look at Wind Gold, which came in January, February, there was no trade that happened after February. So you'll see that price, which is pretty far, right? So don't go by last traded price, but you can manually enter your price to see the portfolio. If I understand correctly, WindWealth first purchases the bond issued by the NBFC, and from these purchases they issue to their customers. If this is the case, does WindWealth retain any % of issues, or is everything distributed to customers? No, we always retain 2%. As I mentioned, I'm a huge fan of the skin in the game theory. So I personally believe we should have skin in the game. So we always retain 2% till maturity, right? So that is always the case. Will you be bringing more such amazing bonds? Thanks for that complaint for retail investor. If yes, going ahead with increase in demand for your product, will the return start reducing? A certain, like obviously at some point of time in future, but not like immediate future. So another thing we have to realize about arbitrage is like every arbitrage doesn't last forever. There is certain time till that point arbitrage lasts, and after that point the arbitrage fades away. And so you have to figure out new assets, new opportunities, new strategies. But we don't think that is going to happen very soon. Is there any plan to decide frequency of asset addition? For example, every month. So it will be more than monthly for sure. So in months you will at least see 2-3 assets going forward. That's the plan. How long will it take to recover the principal of in case the NBFC goes bankrupt, and what is the process to claim it? This is again risk-related question. Anshul briefly answered it. We will again answer this in this risk conversation. I want to diversify my investment by the way of monthly investment of 10K per month by investing through the platform. Is it possible? The SIP feature is not live yet. There are a lot of regulatory challenges for it as well. So we want to make it work, but there is still a lot of obstacles. So I don't think it is going to happen in the next couple of quarters. I just want to be frank. Yes. Is WindWealth registered with RBI or SEBI? What is the capital cost of the company? So we are registered under Companies Act. We are applying for a merchant banking license. We will get it from SEBI. As of now, we are a platform, a normal company registered with MCA. We don't have any specific license from RBI or SEBI. as of yet. We are in the process of getting it. So I hope that clarifies the question. So that answers the question that was submitted earlier. Now let me just go through questions here. Why Growfix got changed to Wintwell? So the thing is that Fix name gave a lot of misdirections or misinterpretations to the investor. A lot of people had a perception that we as a platform ensure that returns. We don't. We facilitate that. There are risks involved, and those are assured by the NBFC and not by us. And that started creating a lot of problem. And we didn't want to, in any way, even knowingly or unknowingly, create a miscommunication, give a wrong perception of the risk involved, right? So that's why that was one of the main reasons why we changed the name. What is the roadmap for 2021? How many asset class in the pipeline? So as we mentioned, we will be bringing 2-3 asset classes. So conservatively speaking, also we'll have 15 asset classes by December. 15 not asset classes, 15 more assets by December 2021, right? How can you accept deposits as you are not NBFC? How are you regulated? We don't accept any deposits. These are debentures that are listed on the platform. People are investing in debentures on the platform or listed on BSE. So we are not accepting anything. There is no deposit involved here. And we are not NBFC, we are a platform that facilitates this. And you are investing in NCD, that is non-convertible debenture, it is not deposit of the NBFC. Prashant, you have a question. I have invested in your asset class. What is the tax structure on that? There was some confusion the same. So we have bring monthly interest payout or like interest payout at the end. Both have different tax structure. Feel free to reach to our team, education team. You can directly reach out through WhatsApp on the homepage and get this query solved. Currently, only 1,000 unit lot is traded on exchange. Can you bring it down to 1 unit? So basically 10,000 rupees can be traded. Yes, that's the plan. There are certain regulatory hurdles and there are some positive moments happening that SEBI recently came out with some draft to change that, and that should happen positively. Timelines are not yet clear. It is not our choice. It is more of a regulatory framework is decided in that way, right? But yeah, we also want that to happen. So let's finger crossed. Can we expect future some tax efficient product from Wintwell? The current product is very much tax efficient. Say the MNDs one, the monthly ones are not. As long as it is a monthly interest payout once, it cannot be structured as MND. So there is the tax efficiency goes down. So people have to make choice. We will be bringing some monthly payout option, some like full payout option, right? But people have to take that. Have to make that choice whether you want to go for a monthly interest option or for a payout at the end. So a lot of questions around have a app. So I'm going to skip through them. We will have an app, and like I really empathize with that, and that's a common feedback. Can we make a joint investment similar to joint FD account, and can we add a nominee? So what you have to realize is you are investing and holding this security in your Demat account. So whatever Demat account level thing are there will be applied for this security also. This security doesn't have to have anything necessary different, right? It is like you are taking an investment, putting in your Demat account. So whatever applies to Demat account will apply to this security. So if it is a joint Demat, the security is owned by joint. If that Demat has a nominee, automatically this security also gets a nominee, right? So you have to do like that. You have to do that with your Demat account. So if you want to open a joint Demat account, open a joint Demat account and then invest. Right. So there is you don't need to specifically set a different nominee for these securities. If you set the nominee for your Demat, then that should be enough. What is the rational 10 lakh plus salary? As I mentioned earlier, right? So for this, let's say if you are going to make, let's say 3-4% extra in those asset classes spread across different asset classes, unless you put 10-15 lakh over the platform, once you build trust, once there are enough assets on the platform, it won't make sense for the reward ratio also. And second, to explain those assets, right? I mean, we are probably one of the only platform who gets on one-on-one call with investor, do a lot of investor education. That requires a lot of bandwidth, right? So therefore, it may not make sense from the investor point of view, and it is also constrained that we have to currently operate in because these asset classes are new. So it is not like rock solid that there is no regulation as such, but it is like what we generally tell honestly what we feel, right? So and then it's your choice. Can Wintwell share the balance sheet of your registered company? If it is legally allowed, we should be able to share. Should not be a problem. I'm sure that is generally like once you file it, it is anyway available on the MCA website, right?
Yeah. I think
So
by September, all the entities need to file it with the MCA. And once that filing is done, the broad financials becomes public.
Understood. So yeah, then once we file it, we will make it on the platform. If you and like so many things don't go on the platform directly because it makes the website very complex. So if you want to know once it is live, feel free to reach out. If it is not on the website, you can tell now also to one of our education team members saying hey, whenever it goes live, please whenever you file it with MCA, please let me know and share it with me. We will share it. No problem from our side. Total number of investors on our platform, it is close to 5,000 currently. I have to check the exact number. How much have you invested individually? I've invested 1 lakh in every asset. I've invested a bit less on the WindBricks because it got so full fast and there was huge investor demand. But I plan to purchase more in secondary. I hope to purchase, and if I get, I mean, we follow the wait list, so I'm on the wait list. So, but as a company, we always invest 2%, as I mentioned. So first asset was 10 crore. So we invested 20 lakh and we still hold it. Second asset, WindWeeks, was 20 crore. So we invested 40 lakhs and that we still hold. The WindBricks, we still hold 40 lakhs because it was a 20 crore issue. Yeah. Just a suggestion, try advertising through Cred app, whose user might be a good target for you. Cool. So thanks for suggestion. We'll work on this. We shouldn't invest more than 1 lakh in each covered bond. So this is probably what I mentioned at the earlier. So the thing is that you should not invest more than, let's say, 5 to 10% of your portfolio in these covered bonds, right? So if your portfolio is 50 lakh, so then your maximum allocation on this asset class can be 10%, right? Or let's say 2.5 to 5 lakh. So let us say 40 lakh, 4 lakh, right? And that you should invest across 10 bonds at least. So that means you should not be investing more than 40,000 in one bond, right? Very simple. So figure out your total allocation, and like if you are not comfortable with the platform, or you are comfortable with the platform but you don't know how it works well, then start with 10,000, and then keep investing more and more, right? And I'm telling you, in next 6 months we'll have 15 assets. So don't rush saying ki like we have to do in this asset only. That's a very risky strategy. Not recommended. Please don't do it. Yeah, please mention about if anyone wants to exit early. Yes, we facilitate that if there is a buyer, and there is big condition if there is a buyer. Okay, so that might take 24 hours, 48 hours. Generally, there are buyers in waiting and they respond very fast. What we have seen in, we have facilitated such transaction in last 4-5 months whenever we have gone, from the time where we have gone live. So we do facilitate it. It's not in currently product format. For that, you have to simply ping to our education team saying, hey, I want to do this and can you help? And if there is buyer, we will, it requires 5-10 minutes registration process on CDSL or NSDL, wherever you have DMAT account. Our education team gets on the call and helps you throughout, so don't worry about it. For MLDs, do we have to sell before maturity to avail tax benefit, or will Windwell handle it yourself? So we will facilitate transaction before the maturity. Our view is that even if you hold it till maturity, then you should get tax benefit. But there are certain people in the market that believe that if you hold till maturity, then you wouldn't get the benefit. Either ways, we will facilitate secondary transactions closer to the maturity date. So if anybody wants to sell, they will be happy to help, right? Because at that time everybody would want to sell, and you can again buy it, so that transaction is pretty smooth. How's taxation on those bonds? That's on monthly it is separate, on lump sum payout it is separate. Please get in touch with our education team, and so we can answer this in detail. Why there are no companies with this idea? What makes yours make you stand on this? It is like, I don't think 5 years down the line we'll be the only player doing it. There will be many players. For some idea, time has to come and somebody has to start. We are just the first. So there will be people coming in, and there will be many people who will be doing similar things. Yes. Yes, I'm going to skip those questions that are repetitive. Is there any statistics or on whether there have been defaults with the trustees you are using, the past history on how covered bonds have performed, the kind of NBFCs you guys are bringing to the platform? So trustees don't default on it. Trustees are mere just trustees, so they are there to figure out operational EA. Obviously, the NBFCs we are working with haven't defaulted before. Statistics, if you have any specific question, feel free to reach out. We will get back. What is the probability of we going bankrupt? Just asking practically. Don't take otherwise. No, like this is a very this is a broader risk question. Once you understand the risk, the question will be answered. So we'll take it in that. What are the risks exactly while investing? We will, yeah. Rishabh will take that question in risk session. Any other covered bonds coming apart from gold backed, vehicle backed, real estate backed? Yes, there are assets coming in, and we are working on that. And hopefully that asset should come next in July, and we'll talk about it when it goes live. Should person having income less than 5 lakh invest in these assets, as minimum investment amount is 10 lakh till now? I don't think so. I wouldn't personally recommend if I had that kind of income. How can you offer such high interest rate where rates have fallen across the segment? Mahendra, this we are also going to cover in, because this will be answered in the risk section. Because we are well past our time, I'm just making sure that any other question doesn't remain unanswered. Any question related to risk and taxation we'll cover in a separately. Again, why there is higher return on gold, and it should be other way around? That's a fair question. That is also again how the NBFC is structured. What is the rating of the NBFC? What is their current cost of funds? This is also part of risk. So return and risk go hand in hand, right? So when we talk about the risk, and that session will plan out well. We will have a 20-minute introduction, then we'll take all the questions related to risk. Are you planning any more assets with monthly payout? Yes, there are some assets coming in. What are the parameters on which returns are decided? Yeah. Can you share performance report of upcoming asset before retailers invest? Yes, it is generally there available. Whenever the assets start, the performance is very, very healthy. So performance report matters on a monthly basis as we go along, as you invest. But yeah, it can be made available. How are you seeing adoption among wealth managers? Are they recommending to their clients? Do you have a community forming around the products? Community is on the cards. About wealth managers are recommending this product. These products are already recommended to people with very high income where they invest 50 lakh. We also have many wealth managers coming in working with us and recommending these products to their investors. Is it possible ever to invest through credit card? No, because you are making an investment, so it should not be ideally made through credit card, and it's not also allowed. Can you share a case study? We will talk about this in a risk session. So, Indrajit, let us make sure that we record all these questions so that we have access to them when we have a risk related sessions.
Yes, we will do that.
Yes, I think for every asset you are publishing, we could add 2-3 minutes video on risk involved in the particular asset, a small suggestion. And this is a very good suggestion, Tarakesh. Tarakesh, what we also are planning for every asset that we come along, we will do a webinar discussing the returns, risk, and everything. And that webinar link will be put up so that if investors want to go through that webinar, 40 minutes webinar, they can go through it. Procedure to withdraw investment, only if there is a buyer, only if there is a buyer, only if there is a buyer. I'm going to keep repeating it so that everybody knows about it. Please ping our education team in that case and we will help you out. Wintwealth is not charging anything now. Is there a future plan to charge investors? Whether the investor gains, whether Wintwealth gains monetarily from NBFC? We are making money now. We charge NBFC or we sell the bonds at little higher price. We make about 1.5% per year. We have been clear and we are making money. Ultimately, that comes out like we are serving investors and so that comes out of it. We don't plan it. So whatever we will charge, the rate mentioned on the website is always post that charge. We don't want to say we promise 15% and then charge 5% and give 10%. How much we basically make is about 1.5% per year. Okay. So a lot of people are asking who is our competition, mom. I see that probably question is coming because you would want to go there and invest. There is no one at the moment currently. Yes. What is Wintwealth's long-term vision? We are here to make in wealth terminology, this segment is called mass affluent. So we are here to make the mass affluents financially well off, right? So that means that we will educate them. We will bring in more assets. In fact, I do write about personal finance on LinkedIn almost daily, and that is education initiative. So what we are absolutely sure is we are here to serve the mass affluents. That means salary 10 lakh to let us say 1 crore or something. So that bracket, right? And especially salaried individual because they don't have access to many of the business opportunities. So we are here to solve their money problems and bring more assets to them. So that's what we'll be keep doing. Why is pledging not allowed? This has been a repeated question. The pledging, what can be pledged? It is not allowed, by the way, if anybody doesn't know. These assets cannot be pledged for margins. Why it's so? It is decided by the regulator, not even by any broker. And most of the bonds are not allowed to be pledged. Hopefully, we'll have that change in future, but not in near future because those changes will generally take a lot of. If one doesn't have a demat account, can the person invest in assets of Wintwealth? No, you have to have a demat account. There are some specific questions. Can I change bank account, etc? Feel free to reach out to our education team. They will get the problem solved. You may verify commercial vehicles loan through e-Parivahan. How do you verify gold or property backed? Property backed also we verify through government portals. Gold we pick up 10% random samples and physically check them for their weight and purity. when you say invest not more than 5-10% of the portfolio, is it equity portfolio or total net worth? Generally, total net worth. But even 5-10% over long term, okay, start investing slow. Again, start investing slowly, no more. And then once you get comfortable with the asset class, then start investing. Generally, again, there is this 2008 crisis question, right? That happened not because of particular instrument, but because skin in the game. So when we scale, also we'll always make sure we have skin in the game. Our partners have enough skin in the game, so things don't go haywire and people don't start becoming lousy. Any opportunity to invest beyond these bonds into running business who are in expansion mode? Not currently, maybe in future years. Yes, so those have been answered about, yeah. So that's that. Thanks. There are currently 112 people who have stayed till the end. I really appreciate your patience. I hope we were not boring. And I hope this session was helpful in understanding. Many times, that's why we ask people to invest slowly. Like many times when you first invest, you may not have the exact right amount of data. You may not have exact right amount of resources to know the risk in detail. So one common questions, like a lot of questions were around the risk. So we will be doing another webinar or probably a Zoom call, open Zoom call to understand risk. So please do join that. And if you are not able to join that, we'll put up that video on the YouTube channel of WindWell. So feel free to check that out. And I really thank you, and keep writing us. Even if you have ideas, let's say you want to invest in particular asset class, or you want WindWell to bring those asset class, keep writing us to us on our WhatsApp, which is there on the website. So you just click and you can just simply say, I don't have any questions, but I want you guys to bring in this asset. And based on that feedback, we'll prioritize what asset we bring. If there is any misgiving, any problem, especially if you're not satisfied with the service, only for questions or only for complaints, my email ID is ajinkya.kulkarni@windwell.com, ajinkya.kulkarni@windwell.com, right? So I'm going to write in question and answer. I'm just putting it in chat so that people have. Right, yeah, it is in the chat. So you can write on this mail ID if you have any complaints, if you are not satisfied with anything. I and my team, a different team, closely monitor that. Just that sometimes, especially when the asset is live, the flow of queries is so high that responses are delayed. Because we are a small team, that is ought to happen. But we will definitely get back. And so there is no. We have been always very honest, very transparent. We might not be able to respond on time. We'll definitely respond with the right answer. And somehow, many times another question is thing is like many people don't get confirmation mails when they invest. Just check on spam or promotions and whitelist this saying ki I would like to receive this looks safe and I'll like to receive these WindWell emails into my inbox. So many times people don't get mail, so that is another reason. Thanks everyone. We are going to close here. If you have any feedback, feel free to write to us. We'll send a feedback form of this webinar also. And thanks for joining in, and have a great weekend. Thank you everyone.